Nusra. This week we are going to preview the SRH team on their chances of winning the 2021 year of the IPL. So we have a few members of not only the Bharat Army but also the Orange Army here to discuss their chances this year. Manish, we'll start with you. How are you doing? And what are your predictions for SRH this year?
Well, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And looking forward to the start of yet another exciting IPL season. And hopefully this time around, we can go 2 steps further than what we could achieve last time around and lift the title.
Awesome. And Dipti, welcome to the show. Are you as optimistic as Manish?
Obviously optimistic when every other fan also is supporting and is counting on SRH. Why wouldn't the SRH fans count on our team?
Absolutely. And Rakshit, welcome to the show. What are your thoughts this year for SRH?
With addition of Jadhav, the expected middle order has been, strengthen our batting order. I expect, we will compete with the best teams in IPL.
Awesome.
And hopefully winning the trophy.
Awesome. And Varun joining us all the way from New York. What are your thoughts for the season?
I've been really waiting for IPL 2021 since last year, because of the COVID, it's been a long time since we've seen IPL. And, once IPL started back in September, we couldn't, just wait for the next season as, people call it is the Indian festival. So really waiting, for the IPL this year, and it's going to be starting in just another few days. And really, I have really high hopes on SRH because, we have a pretty balanced team this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think SRH have a really good chance this season. We'll delve a little further just now into some of the stats, some of the purchases that you've got. But looking into your record, first of all, you've obviously won more than you've lost, so that's always a good sign. Champions in 2016, so not too long ago, but it's still a 4-year gap until you've last won it. Last season, narrowly missed out, finished 3rd in the playoffs, but you've got an amazing squad, and it's going to be interesting to see how you utilize that squad this season. Almost impossible to pick a first 11 for SRH. Overseas players, you've got obviously the captain David Warner, Johnny Bairstow. He was ODI man of the series in the recently concluded India v England ODI series. Kane Williamson, arguably one of the best batsmen in the world. Mohammad Nami and Rashid Khan, both spinning all-rounders from Afghanistan. Jason Holder, who's been unbelievable over the last few years in all formats of the game. And Jason Roy is an interesting one as well. Mitchell Marsh dropped out of the IPL for personal reasons just a few days ago, and Jason Roy has come in. Again, he had a pretty good series against India. He was a bit out of form before then, but I think he's cemented his team back in the England side. So that could be an interesting pick. But again, it's more competition at the top of the order, which we'll discuss. And then Mujib, again, a new entry for this year's IPL. Previously, he's played at Punjab. Again, an interesting one. Another Afghanistan spinner. You've got Mohammad Nabi, you've got Rashid Khan. Did you need a Mujib? Class spinner, very, very good spinner. But is it what SRH need? We will delve into that. And then a few Indian players to watch out for. Now, of course, we all know about Bhuvneshwar Kumar from watching the recent series against England. Unbelievable series he had. He was absolutely on fire. So you guys must be really, really excited to see him, wearing the orange colours. Natarajan as well, broken into the India side purely from his efforts for SRH. So, he's had such a good start to his career. He's done really, really well for India as well. So, he'll want to carry that momentum on with SRH. And Manish Pandey, been in and out of the India team over the last few years, hasn't made it into the squad now. So he'll certainly have a point to prove. And I think, being a top heavy sort of batting lineup, Manish as the Indian batting at 3 or 4 will be key to Sunrisers' success this season. So we'll start off with you, Manish, again. Want a quick discussion about the new additions that we've added to the SRH squad. So looking at the likes of Mujib, at Jason Roy, Kedar Jadhav as well, I believe is a new addition. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the addition of Jason Roy was made just keeping in mind the fact that David Warner is still recovering from a hamstring injury. And I think his addition to the team will make sure that if in case David Warner is not fit enough, then Jason Roy probably can fit into the level, step into David Warner's shoes and play that top-heavy role of being an explosive batsman, overseas batsman up top. Speaking of the addition of Kedar Jadhav, I think experience always counts in tournaments like these, and Kedar Jadhav, of course, has lots of IPL games under his belt. So he, I think, can finally solve our middle order issues, and that is one loophole that we've tried to cover in all auctions that we've been a part of in recent years. And speaking of Mujibur Rahman, I think he's a great spin bowling option. Rashid Khan has had a tiring season with Afghanistan, given that he's bowled 100 overs in a single test match. I think, touchwood, he doesn't face injury during this season, but if he does, Mujib can play the role of being the spearhead in our spin bowling department.
Awesome. And Dipti, do you agree? What do you think of the new additions?
Firstly, I think Sunrisers is one team which didn't need an auction. We were already strong. But if you compare last year, there was one area that we lagged and one area which everyone's thought was problematic, that is our young Indian middle order. So that problem was solved by addition of Kedar, and that I think is a very good move, which initially didn't seem like for a lot of fans, it didn't seem the right move, but always experience counts, and to have such a player who has played international matches and who has experience of handling pressure, it will be good to have him in the middle order. So I think Kedar was a great pick, and Mujib, I think it is more like Mujib and even Jason Roy, they are more like backup options, because last year SRH has faced a lot of issues due to injuries, and losing Bhuvneshwar Kumar was a literally heartbreak moment for everyone out there. And fortunately, Sandeep and Natarajan stepped up. So we just wanted to keep our options available as backup. So that's the reason I think they went for the other two as well.
Okay. So Varun, we've spoken about having backup options like Jason Roy and Mujib, but it seems to me that you've got too many players in one position. Opening spot, you're very top heavy. That sort of top 3 or 4, you've got such amazing talent. Jason Roy, Johnny Bairstow, David Warner. One down, you've got Kane Williamson. Tell me, what would your top order be if you were to pick? Because for me, it's impossible to pick. So I want to know, first of all, who are your openers?
So see, first of all, if we pick 2 overseas players and if we lose them early, our power packed options are gone at the first. So what we need is we need 1 overseas player and 1 Indian player in the opening spot. So I feel Saha, seeing last year, he was good at the end. So yes, Saha will be my first option with David Warner at the opening spot. And Jason Roy as a backup if David Warner's, injury is not, getting well.
Okay, so you wouldn't go with a Johnny Bairstow at the top of the order, despite having such an amazing India v England series. Would he get into your team at all?
Yeah, he will definitely get into the team, but I really want him to be in the middle order. So, he will strengthen the middle order, with his power hitting. And, he's an overseas batsman too, which and he can be very reliable in the middle order. He's not been, so great at the middle order, but we have really high hopes on Bairstow this year.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Rakshit, what would you say would be your top 2 picks? I think we've just lost Rakshit there. So we'll go to you, Dipti. What would be your top 2 picks at the top of the order?
I am a person who backs Kane Williamson no matter what. I think he can play the role of an anchor role, and as well as he can also hit those runs if necessary, like a powerful bat hit, like a hitter. So because I think we are playing more matches as in spinning grounds, we need someone like a Nabi. That's the reason I would pick Saha and David in the top order. and Saha has proved himself in the previous season. You can look at his stats. He has performed exceedingly well in absence of Bairstow. I know Bairstow is a good player, but sometimes due to him being an overseas player, we can't fit in everyone. So I think it is okay to let him go.
Okay, and Rakshit, I think we've got you back now. Would you agree with that? So far, it's been Ridhman Saha and David Warner opening combination. Would you go any different, or would you be happy with that? I think the connectivity may not be there for Rakshit still. Manish, over to you. Would you go with the same opening combo?
Well, I think I have to agree with what Deepti and Varun have stated. And Wriddhiman Saha was doing a great job until he picked up an unfortunate injury. The last 2-3 league games, he was quite brilliant, playing at a good strike rate, healthy average as well. And against DC, when we had to, win a do or die game. So I think Warner and Saha are a good opening combo, right-hand, left-hand combination up the order. And also why Bairstow doesn't make the cut is because we have to play Nabi in there, given the fact that we are playing most of our games on spin conducive pitches of Chennai.
I think we've just lost him briefly. Do you want to carry on, Manish?
Well, yeah. So like I was saying, the inclusion of Nabi, I think, is a no-brainer, given the fact that his numbers speak for themselves, and he's someone who can ball at a decent economy and play a crucial part in our bowling lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I think it's an all-round agreement. There'll be Ridhman Saha opening with David Warner. Moving to number 3 and 4, who would you guys pick in the number 3 spot? Let's start with you, Varun.
So number 3 and number 4 has been fixed a long time ago. It's been fixed in 2018. It's got to be Kane and Manish. Kane at 1 down, Manish at 2 down. Manish at 1 down, Kane at 2 down. Sorry. So yeah, Kane, he just performs brilliantly at number. He can play any position. He can play opening. He can play, down the order. He can play, any position. So Kane is fixed at number 2. He's a backbone for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. And Manish Pandey, this is the year he really has to prove his worth to the Sunrisers Hyderabad, and the T20 World Cup is also coming up. So if he really needs to get selected, he really needs to perform well for the Sunrisers. And, we are really expecting much from him this year.
Okay, so at the start of the podcast, I sort of explained about the top-heavy batting that the Sunrisers have got. So it's an amazing top 4, and there's so much choice in that top 4 with Bairstow in the wings, Roy in the wings. But obviously, with so many games, there's days where the top 4 just won't fire. And in any T20 game, there will be a reliance on that middle order. I think that's where SRH may have suffered in the past. So what are your thoughts on the middle order? Are SRH a bit too top-heavy? Do you have the middle order to compete with the other teams in the IPL? Manish, we'll start with you on this one.
Well, I think a lot of onus lies on our middle order to step up and perform whenever needed, whenever our opening combination fails to deliver. And we've kept faith in a young middle order. Last time around, we had someone like Abhishek Sharma and someone as talented as Abdul Samad, Priyam Garg. We've got these young players, young mix of players who've got their fair share of opportunities, but we also have 2 experienced candidates in the form of Vijay Shankar and Kedar Jadhav. And I think they will play a crucial part in anchoring the innings in the middle, alongside someone like Kane Williamson at number 4 for that matter. I think Kane will have lots of responsibility, making sure that he anchors the innings and also making sure that we get enough number of runs in those middle overs, because that is where I believe a match is won or lost. So yeah, I do think that we've made efforts to solve our middle order woes this time, and hopefully our middle order delivers.
Dipti, would you agree with that? Have you solved the middle order woes?
If you no, I kind of think that Hardik Pandya can't be born just like that. We have to keep backing our young talent. And if you see the domestic matches, all of them have played exceedingly well. So initially, I have confidence in them, but then with the addition, like I said before, like with the addition of Kedar and with Kane and Manish, Manish actually surprisingly people think he's not good at number 3, but there has been a stat that floated recently, and that shows he has 700 plus runs for SRH at number 3. So that is something that tells that he is good at number 3, and Kane can step down for number 4. So I think it's good. And this year with the addition of Kedar, I think we don't have any flaw as such, and our young team also has stepped up in the domestic matches. I hope they perform the same way they did in those matches. Yeah.
Fine. So it's clear that you've got largely an Indian middle order. We've already picked 2 overseas in the top 4 in Kane Williamson and David Warner. There's only 2 slots available left, and I can think of 3 or 4 that I'd want to pick. So over to you, Varun, on the next question. The next 2 remaining overseas spots, who gets them? Is it Jason Holder? Is it Nabi? Is it Rashid? Who gets the last 2 remaining spots?
Rashid has a permanent spot since he, came into the squad of Sunrisers in 2017. You can't leave him out. He's the number 1 T20 bowler. I don't know, but I just checked it recently. I don't think he is anymore. But he is a class bowler. We cannot leave him out. He has been, a main part of Sunrisers, and and so he has a permanent spot. And we need an all-rounder too, a power-packed all-rounder. Last year we had Jason Holder, but this year, since we're playing 9 matches on spin tracks, I'm gonna go with Nabi. And I just feel he's a much power-packed batsman than a Jason Holder is.
Yeah.
Okay, Manish, would you agree with that? You're going Nabi over Jason Holder, even though Holder had such an amazing season just last year?
Yeah, it's a tough pick, but I would agree with Varun, and I think Nabi would make the cut for me instead of Holder, because given the fact that we are playing in Chennai will need a lot of good experienced spin bowling to come play a part as the match progresses, and I think Nabi can do a great job doing that. Not only his bowling, but I think he's proved in the Big Bash that he can be a good hitter of the ball as well. So we can play him accordingly. I think he's a flexible batsman when it comes to fitting in the 11. I think he can play at number 6, number 7. So he provides that bit of flexibility in the batting order as well. So his inclusion, given his all-round abilities, I think he's going to make the cut, certainly, alongside Rashid, of course.
Okay, and I'm gonna give my next question to you as well, Manish. Obviously, this season is a bit different, neutral venues. So as you said, you'll be playing a lot of your games at Chennai, which will suit spinning conditions. How much of an effect do you think the neutral venue will have on SRH, if any at all?
Well, I think it's always going to play a part when you're, particularly playing lots of your games. In fact, 9 of our games are going to be played at Chennai. So I think getting exposed to those conditions and adapting ourselves to those conditions is something that is going to be really important. I think we need to find the right balance in our playing 11, finding the right opening combination, and of course, finding our 5 main bowlers is something that's going to play a part in our first 2 or 3 league games. And if we find the right combination heading into the tournament, I think those 5-6 games that we'll have in hand at Chennai, they are going to play a real good advantage in our favor moving forward.
Okay, good analysis. So that sort of covered the top order and the middle order. Now I'm going to go onto the bowling attack next, and for me, arguably, this is one of the strongest bowling attacks in the entire league, and there's not much debate around the bowling because there's so many shoo-ins there. And I think SRH in a fortunate position that Bhuvi has come back from injury. He's got into the India side and he's proven he's as good as he's ever been. So let's start with you, Varun. Bowling attack, who are your bowlers, and is there any sort of debate about this?
No debate at all. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, he has regained his fitness and he's ready to go and play for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. And he's also the swing king. And Sandeep Sharma, he's the swing king 2.0 for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. So yeah, he has a permanent spot as well. Rashid Khan, our first spin option, he has a permanent spot as well. So, there's no debate about those three. And now coming to Natarajan, maybe someone can replace him if he goes expensive, in some matches. But, Natarajan, he made his debut for India. He played well for India, and he's looking at good touch as well. So yeah, there you go. There's the four bowlers, and now I said I wanted to add Nabi to my squad, and he's also a spin option. For the spin tracks of Chennai and Delhi. So there you go. Nabi, Bhuvi, Sandeep, Nattu, and Rashid.
Yeah.
Dipti, any change there?
I would agree with them. It is sorted, and only change would be if it is like matches in Bangalore, which is like high scoring. So I actually rate Holder as more power hitter than Nabi. Nabi has played certain matches, but it's more of like hit and miss. It's the same with both of them, but I feel having Jason Holder in that position would be better in those places. So that would be the only change. And we have bowling options in the form of Kedar and Abhishek also. They can also ball spin, so only for those matches. But if it is like the pitches like Chennai, in that I would put in Nabi as the fifth bowler.
Okay, and Khalil Ahmed, is he not around? Is he injured or?
He is there. Even Siddharth Kaul is there. We have a lot of pace options, but depends. Like these people have the ones that we picked have played and showed. They stepped up the last season, so it would only be right if we showed faith in them for the initial few matches at least. Yeah, once we make our seat safe in the playoffs, we can give others opportunity also.
Manish, any points from you? You'd keep Khalil on the bench as well?
Well, for me, 16 overs are allotted and ready to go. I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar, T. Natarajan, Sandeep Sharma, and Rashid Khan. These are our four definite bowlers who are going to be there in the 11. The only concern, I think, will be the fifth bowling option, given the conditions, given the stadium that we're playing in. It can vary between Mohammad Nabi and Jason Holder. Jason Holder, of course, at Chinnaswamy, I think his pace and bounce can do us a lot of good. So yeah, I think that fifth bowling option is the only place where we are going to shuffle a bit. But rest assured, I think 16 overs, we're good to go.
Okay, good stuff. I think we've got a pretty settled 11 here for SRH. It's fairly self-explanatory, which is a really good position to be in. It's a good position that everyone knows their place, and most of them are certainties in the side, and hopefully you can keep that consistency throughout the tournament. And talking about the tournament, I want to get your genuine thoughts, not bias, on who's going to finish top four this IPL. All the squads have so much talent in them. It's always so difficult to predict. But you SRH fans, I want to know from you who are finishing top four and in what order as well. So Varun, let's start with you.
So Sunrisers, they're gonna finish at the first place. It's just because we're playing 9 matches on spin tracks, and we have a world-class spin bowlers like Rashid Khan. He has the ability to take 2 to 3 wickets in those 9 matches. That's just my opinion. And also, Akash Chopra has also said we might be the first team to qualify. So I'm sticking by his word as well. Coming to the second place, it's a competition between Delhi Capitals and Rajasthan Royals. Rajasthan Royals, they actually, they have a pretty strong team this year, and they will definitely make the playoffs as well as the DC. So any position of them, it doesn't matter. I can't, choose between 2 and 3 for RR and DC. And the number 4, it's going to be Mumbai Indians. Mumbai Indians is gonna finish 4th this year. The only reason they're gonna finish, I just feel like 4th, is because they don't have many reliable spin options other than Rahul Chahar. He's performing very well. Piyush Chawla, I don't think he's that reliable, and I don't think he'll get many chances as well. Krunal Pandey, he might give us 4 overs, but sometimes he goes really expensive. So the only frontline spinner Mumbai Indians have is Rahul Chahar. So that's why they don't really have a great spin attack. That's their only weakness. So that's why I put Mumbai Indian at the 4th.
Dipti, let's hear from you.
First of all, Varun is the first one who pointed out a weakness in MI team. I feel so. I wouldn't want MI in top four being because they have already won a lot of cups, but we can't put them aside, so they'll be in for sure. And SRH and MI will be in there, and then I think. Punjab Kings have a good chance because they were exceedingly well in the last few matches of previous season. So I hope they continue their momentum, and then the next one would be a tie between RR and DC. I think because I would have rated them earlier, but each of them have lost a player. At least RR has lost for initial few matches, and DC have lost their captain. More than captain, I think Shreyas Iyer's place in the team is important. So because of that, I'm like not sure, but one of them might qualify. That's what I feel.
Okay, and Manish, what's your prediction?
Well, I think Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals, looking at their squad, these are two teams you just cannot write off. So I think these two teams are definitely going to make it to the top four. Not in this order. I believe Sunrisers have what it takes to finish top two. So I think Delhi Capitals will finish number one, SRH hopefully number two. Mumbai Indians, I think they will make the cut. They will be number three. Number four, I think it can be anyone. It can be a dark horse like someone like Rajasthan Royals. I think they have a good team this time around with the inclusion of someone like Shivam Dubey, Chris Morris, who went for a record buy to their team. I think Rajasthan Royals have a good chance, so they are my fourth pick.
So no one's mentioned KKR, which is your first game. So judging by that, it should be a walkover. It should be an easy game. Varun, how do you think you guys are going to start against a team like KKR?
It's a pretty easy game. That's all I can say. We're playing on a spin track. We have Rashid Khan. He's just gonna go through KKR. KKR do have a strong team. They have Morgan, they have Gill, they have Russell, and they have Varun Chakrabarti, who's a great spinner. But I don't think that they have the batting capacity to play on such like a spin tracks. And we have, as I told, world class spinners. So yeah, SRH is gonna definitely win the first match.
SRH versus KKR.
Dipti, what's your thoughts? First game, will it be a strong start and get the W straight away, or will KKR be a bigger challenge than what Varun's made out?
I really don't look at the opposition. It is about how our team performs on that day, and I would be backing our team to perform well. And it doesn't matter who the opposition is. If you play well on any given day, you can go through the phase. And being honest, SRH seems a more balanced side than KKR. So I think we can win it, and we should try to start the season with a W.
Awesome. And then Manish, finally over to you. Final thoughts about the first game. Are you looking forward to it? Where are you going to be watching it? Final thoughts for the match against KKR.
Well, I think KKR are going to be a tough side to beat, and KKR in fact has been a team we've struggled against. If you look at our record against them in the previous season, I think we lost both league games against them. But hopefully, like Deepthi mentioned, if we have a good game on that particular day, if our players rise to the occasion, I think we have what it takes to beat them. And hopefully, given the fact that it's going to be a game at Chennai, I think Rashid Khan will be our X factor on that particular day, and we'll be cheering from our home, shouting for the Orange Army to go all the way through in our very first game.
Well, Manish thinks that Rashid Khan will be the X factor. Will you captain him in your Paytm first games team when KKR take on Sunrisers Hyderabad? For me, I think SRH have a really, really good chance this year. They've got a balanced side. They've got big hitters in their middle order as well, with the likes of Abdul Samad. They've got arguably the best bowling attack and most consistent bowling attack amongst all five bowlers in the league. So I think, for me, SRH are the ones to watch. Tomorrow, please join Rishi as he'll be back again for the final preview show with the Mumbai Indians, supposedly the favourites, but I'm sure the guys in the panel today will disagree that they think SRH will be able to take on a team like Mumbai Indians this season. Until then, please join Rishi tomorrow, 8 p.m. IST. SRH fans, best of luck for the season. We hope you go well and bring the trophy home for the second time. Goodbye all.
Thank you so much.